Shavua Tov, everyone. Welcome to story number 35, video story number 35 in our WhatsApp group. I adopted this story from the Treasury of Hasidic Tales, from the great translation of Uri Kaplun, and I mailed it out to my list 19 years ago. I call it the shortest verse in the Torah. There was a chasid named Yaakov Yitzhak of Brizhin. That's the name of the town he lived in. And he traveled to Radoshitz to present to his Rebbe his bitter complaint. He and his wife had several children, and they all died very young in childhood. Rabbi Yisachar Dov, who's known as the Saba Kadisha of Radoshitz, the holy grandfather of Radoshitz, and he had been a disciple of the seer of Lublin and the holy Yid of Pesishka, and he had very many followers. He told this chasid that the next time his wife, not just pregnant, was when she was in the month close to childbirth, so he should come to see him again. So that's what happened. When next time his wife was pregnant, when she entered her 7th month, so Rabbi Yaakov Yitzhak excitedly made the journey to Radoshitz, and the Rebbe asked him, "What was the name of your deceased father?" And he told him, "My father's name was Yirmiyahu." So the Rebbe told him, "All right, when the baby is born, if a baby son is born, so you should call him Chaim Yirmiyahu. Yirmiyahu lives." But before he left Radoshitz to return home, Yaakov Yitzhak went to get a parting blessing from the Rebbe, and the Rebbe blessed him that it should be a healthy birth, and the son should stay healthy, and he should live until maturity. and then before the chassid left, the Rebbe quoted a verse to him. This verse happens to be the shortest verse in the Torah, 3 words with a total of 11 letters. Do you know what it is? B'nei Dan Chushim. The sons of Dan were Chushim. And the chassid had no idea why is the Rebbe quoting this verse to him. No explanation was offered, but he left and he went home. And a month or 2 later, the baby was born, and he followed the Rebbe's instructions, and he named him Chaim Yirmiyahu after his father. The happiness over the birth of his son did not soothe his burning curiosity about why had the Rebbe quoted this verse to him. And at the bris, he spoke to as many of the Torah scholars and sages and Torah scholars and chassidim that lived in Brizhin, and asked them what they thought. And each one gave a brilliant, ingenious interpretation, but none of them seemed to fit. Subsequently, he wrote a letter asking the same question to his brother-in-law, who was a rabbi in Pesishka. Pesishka is famous for its sharp-witted chassidim, but they didn't have any better explanation or any explanation that rang for him any more than the local Torah scholars in chassidim. And when the baby became 1 year old, so Yaakov Yitzhak made the rounds. The father, Yaakov Yitzhak, made the rounds again, asking all the different Torah scholars and chassidim how should he understand why the Rebbe said that verse to him, B'nei Dan Chushim. And this time, they all agreed on an interpretation. Paradoxically, even although Dan had only one son named Chushim, the verse is stated in the plural. B'nei Dan, not Ben Dan, but B'nei Dan, Chushim, the sons of Dan were Chushim. What could possibly be the explanation of this strange use of the plural form? We're talking about one son. You could write it off easily as just to be parallel with all the sentence construction of the other tribes, but they found a meaning. That the reason was in the plural because although Dan was an only child, Chushim was an only child of Dan, nevertheless, through him, it's through his many offspring and the many offspring of his offspring, so Dan became one of the most populous tribes. And indeed, their interpretation turned out to be on the mark. Chaim Yirmiyahu remained a single child, but when he grew and married, he had many children, and of course many grandchildren.